Hi, this is Will again, and this is our third video in this series on healing your relationship with God, healing your relationship with the divine. And again, when I say God, it is the God of your understanding. And part of the beauty of using the term God is that it can still bring up some stuff for us. Other terms that bring up stuff that let us know there's some healing to do is Lord and Savior and Jesus and any specific religious term that is hard for you. So if you're a Christian, it might be using the term Allah or others. Those specific words can make us go funny. We get really weird about them. But if we have a deep, profound, I believe, if we have a deep, profound relationship with God, then it doesn't really matter the name that we give it. And I want that freedom for you, that you can have the freedom to worship and to pray and to be with God no matter where you are. That you could pray as easily in a mosque, if you're welcome to be there, as you could in a church, if you're welcome to be there. It's not that we have to force ourselves upon others that don't have the same beliefs, but that we are open to growing in our spiritual practice with whoever is also open to growing in the same way. So in this third video, I'm going to talk about spiritual practice and how important that is in our growth with the divine, with healing our relationship with God. But I promised you from the last video that story called Christian Kindness. So this is about how we can release or heal the specific religious baggage that we've been carrying. So the ways to do that are to recontextualize, and this story is going to be an example of that. The second is identifying, do those specific rocks in your backpack, do they even belong to you, or did you energetically pick them up from someone else? And the third is to redefine your relationship with God, to own your relationship with God, to make it your own. So here's the story. I was 19 years old, traveling Europe by myself, backpacking through Europe, and I was traveling through England, and only a few parts. I was in London for a while, went up to Stonehenge, which was amazing, and then took a bus to Bath. Little did I know that Bath was going to have a hand in changing my life and my relationship with God. And I was there at a time called All Saints' Day, and there's the cathedral in Bath that I've been told about. So even though I didn't believe in God, clearly, I wanted to go. I didn't know why. I had this desire, this pull in my heart, in my gut, and I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go, and I didn't believe in God. So why did I want to go? Just all that. So I remember walking down this hill, and there were fireworks going in the evening. I remember the brown suede shoes I had bought for traveling, I thought looked amazing. I don't know if they did, but I thought they did because I'd never wore brown suede shoes. By the end of the travels, they looked pretty bad. But anyways, bought them in London, thought they looked great as I'm walking through the long grass down the hill with the fireworks going. And I get to the cathedral in Bath, and it's packed. The music's already started, and it's packed. And I come down the side in this big cathedral, and there's no seats. And I finally see one seat at the end. It's pretty close to the front. There's one little seat on the pew, and there's a woman sitting there with a man. She's a bit older. He's about middle-aged. And I walk over and I whisper, is this seat being saved? And she looked at me with the warmest smile and said, "Yes, dear, for you." And I went, oh my gosh. So I sat down. We listened to the music. We got a little bit of time to chat in between. I shared with them that I was traveling, and then it was part of Mass, and so there was a chance to go up and receive the Eucharist. And she invited me to come, even though I said I was not Christian at all. But she said I was welcome to come and try it and have an experience, and I politely declined. At the end of the whole concert, we got to chatting as well. And she and the man said, "Oh, but you've seen the Roman baths here at Bath," which is where Bath got its name. They're famous. You have to go. I said, "Well, I checked it out today, but it cost 20 quid, 20 pounds sterling, which was just way more money than I was willing to spend because I had 9 months of travel ahead of me. It was way more than I was willing to spend on any one thing." So I said, it's just not in my budget. And as we're walking out the cathedral together and we get to the big front doors, she gives me a hug, and then she shakes my hand, and in her hand was 30 quid. And I was one of those moments where I didn't even realize the money was in my hand until it was in my hand. She was very tricky like that. And I said, I can't take this. This is too much money. That was more money than I would have made in a whole day back in the cafe that I had worked at to save for this trip in Canadian dollars. And I had a really hard time accepting. And she said, no. You go to the baths, get yourself a nice lunch, call your mom. Sorry. You call your mom, you tell her that you're okay. Whew, didn't expect that. And I had such a hard time receiving that gift. And I told her that, and she said, "No, dear, this is called Christian kindness." With no hint of agenda, with no hint of judgment or finger wagging or expectation. It was just a gift from the heart. And clearly, I still get emotional thinking about it, and it helped to change my relationship with God and with Christianity. And that I realized that not everyone was out to get me. Not every Christian was out to shame me into the church, which had been my experience until that time. But from that day moving forward, I started meeting more and more wonderful Christians that I felt close to, that I could grow with in a spiritual practice and in a spiritual life, even though we didn't agree on everything, even though I wasn't baptized and I don't plan to be baptized, that we could still grow in our relationship with God together. So I invite you to look for what are the ways that you can recontextualize those stones in your backpack. And it may take some time, but you can ask God, you can ask the divine, God, please send me people and experiences and movies and songs that will help me to recontextualize, to shift my relationship to some of that baggage. I want to let go of this backpack. Maybe not all at once. Maybe it's just one stone at a time or one boulder at a time. But I want to be closer to you, God. Help me to shift all of this. Please send me people and stories and videos and songs that will help me to do that. And this leads into nicely this concept of a spiritual practice, which probably for you, this is not new. Many of you watching this is not a new concept, that you need to have a spiritual practice of some kind to grow in your relationship with the divine. Now, it could be that you go to church. That's amazing. It could be that you go for a walk every day and just talk to the trees, to life, to nature. It could be that you pray every day. For me, I listen to what I call Coldplay for Jesus music every day on Spotify. I've got a very long playlist now because it's been years. I love that music. I don't agree with every line in every song, but I love it. The heart of it all is just so powerful, and it's helped me to grow in my relationship with God for the past 8 years. So my Jesus music is a big part of that. I do go to church, not as often as I used to, but I do go, and I allow that to challenge me, and I allow it to help me to grow. And there are people there that I can build a relationship as we all grow towards the divine. So you need some kind of a spiritual practice. So for my people that I work with, every month we have it's a 15-minute prayer, and we get together live, and I lead a prayer on a specific topic. And it's usually a combination of business and spiritual practice. So visibility and growing your business as a healer, or confidence in your online business. But every prayer does two things. One, I like that thumbs up. I don't normally do that. It's normally one this way, right? But anyways, number one, thumbs up, is to help you heal your relationship with the divine. Because if we do that little bit by little bit, little bite-sized chunk, once a month, before you know it, you are opening up that conversation. You're opening up that connection with the divine. And in those prayers, it always connects to a business topic to do both at the same time. So what is your spiritual practice? I invite you to jot some ideas down, write some ideas down. And I also encourage you to make sure that some of it's just you and the divine, like walking in nature or private prayer time, but that some of it comes in community. And that's why, even if you're not religious, churches are great because they meet every Sunday. So even if you don't align fully, going to church can be a beautiful and a powerful practice. Or it's an online group that you meet with that is more aligned for you if you're not religiously inclined and only identify as spiritual. So whatever it is, make sure that you've got some component of community, that there's community involved, that if you drop off, if 3 months go by and you don't show up, you're going to have someone to reach out that loves you and says, "Hey, where have you been? It's been 3 months. We miss you. Come on back." Because we all have peaks and valleys. We all dip. We all have, rough seasons in our life. And it makes a big difference to have others that are there to help lift us up when we have those times, and that we can be there for others when they have those times. So my last video surprise, surprise, it's going to be on spiritual community. How do you build that? How do you grow that? What are some options that you have? And I'll see you then. So have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.